Hi, it's good to see you. I went a long time between video uploads. However, I didn't fall into the same trap as I did back in 2021. My 2021 project failed because I allowed myself to succumb to the fear and self-doubt that comes along with putting oneself out into the world. There are many times where I took the camera, put it across from me, sat down in my chair, and just didn't feel like hitting the record button. Sure, I had things to say, but I always rationalize them as being not important to say. And in the long run, probably not. But that's not what this channel's ever been about. Not to change minds or change the world, but to sort of document the experience. I am one of 7, 8 billion people, and will be just a blip in the cosmic history of this universe. The other reason why it failed is because I put a lot of undue pressure on myself for trying to fulfill about 7, 8, 9 lofty goals with no real concrete plan. Even trying to film the experience was something I struggled with because I didn't know if I had to prioritize the filming of it or the accomplishing of it. So I just let the video side of it go. And then I let the goals slip away from me. In 2022, I sought to alleviate that potential hurdle by narrowing my focus into 3 goals. 3 goals that I thought would be attainable over the course of a year. First being to lose 50 pounds. The second, to expand my photo and video business to include a social media arm of it, whether that's social media marketing, content generation, or potentially going down the commercial route. And the third was to buy a house. Looking back on it, those 3 goals are pretty lofty, especially at a 30,000 foot view. But they could be honed in and worked on over the course of the year. So how did I do? We'll start with the easy one, the weight loss. That one was the most concrete, tangible goal that you could visually see. It was a number. At the beginning of the year, I weighed 325 pounds. Now, as a 5'10", 32-year-old man at the time, it's not very healthy, at least according to my doctors and according to me. I could feel it. Yes, sometimes I feel and look like I can carry the weight well, but I could feel it all the time. Now, I played baseball in 2021, and I wanted to continue to do that in 2022, but I wasn't going to be able to do that effectively or have as much fun as I did if I didn't take control of my weight. I did the thing that almost everybody else does when they want to do a weight loss journey and joined a gym. I am proud to say that I stuck with it consistently. I was going about every day, at least walking on the treadmill, and then more often than not going to weight machines or any sort of extra movement that I could get. And I was going pretty consistently for about 4.5 months. Then I kind of fell off. But by the time I fell off, I was starting to get into baseball season again. Would have loved to have kept up with it, but I didn't. No excuse for it really, other than just laziness took over. I'm not going to beat myself up over losing 25 pounds because that is still a pretty big accomplishment for me. Moving on to the business goals. In 2021, real estate photography was my main source of income. I shot 212 homes that year, which is about 4 a week. Pretty consistent. Not as much as I would have liked to have done, but as someone who is doing it by themselves, who shoots and edits and distributes everything on their own, I kept myself very busy. In 2022, real estate photography was still the main focus of my business. I increased the number of properties I shot to 248. However, I offer things like video services, virtual tours, floor plans, and I was able to add on to those shoots by offering more agents, more options for their marketing purposes. So even though the number of shoots increased just slightly, the number of services I provided increased, I think, at about 30%. So a very good growth for me. During that time though, I was able to shoot a commercial, or at least a video ad for a mobile storage company's website, basically a what we do sort of thing. And I'm hoping that that work carries over into 2023 into more narrative commercial projects, more advertisements for them. As far as the social media aspect goes, I helped a couple of agents shoot some social media content for their various platforms. I even took up editing a real estate investor's YouTube channel, His name is Jason. He focuses on short-term rentals like Airbnb and Vrbo. He does house flips, renovations, and he's also getting into management now. Go check out his channel. It's pretty interesting if you're looking to either get into the world of real estate or you're in it and kind of want to learn a couple of things that you might not have considered, especially in the short-term rental world, because that is a very interesting and ever-changing world, and boy do I not want to do it. But I'll edit his videos and make him look like a fool at least once a week, so you're welcome, Jason. And that brings us to the last goal. As I mentioned, I wanted to narrow my focus to a few goals for 2022. And this is the one that I attacked the hardest. This is the one I put most of my energy and focus into, because even though it was the loftiest of the goals and almost felt improbable to achieve, it's the one I desperately wanted so badly. And I'm gonna cut to the chase. We bought the house. We closed 2 days before Thanksgiving, and Allison and I were able to spend Christmas together in our new home. And it was the biggest sense and feeling of accomplishment I've had in a long time. And that's mainly the reason for the gap in the videos. See, I told you the outcome before the story time because I don't want you to have to sit through the story time in order to figure out whether or not we did it. Long story short, beginning in July, we began putting in offers, mainly on condos, mainly FHA, and we probably put in about half a dozen offers, but we kept getting outbid, mainly by cash buyers, conventional financing. We were FHA buyers. Now, if you are an FHA buyer and you're looking at a condo, it's going to be an uphill battle. So anybody out there that's looking to buy a home or buy a condo, try to go conventional if you don't have the cash. FHA is still a great option, but there's a lot more restrictions that you're going to run into. So make sure you talk with your lender and your real estate agent, all this other stuff. I gotta say it to cover myself because I'm always wearing the real estate agent hat. As long as I have the license, I'm going to be held accountable for everything I say. It was really depressing and draining to constantly be beat out by offers. People that are offering full cash for these properties, people that are offering over 150% and even then some of list price, people offering to name their firstborn child after the seller. So after a couple of months of losing out on offers, we just kind of took a step back. I began doing more shoots, hammering out more projects, and putting away as much money as I could, paying down as much debt as I could, until we could finally afford conventional financing, which is a step above FHA, not as strong as a cash buyer, but at least it tells people that we have the means and we are serious, and there'll be a lot less headaches. But even after that, we still put in some more offers. We still lost out on a couple of properties. But the one thing I can say that I'm very proud of doing was maintaining composure and not allowing emotions to drive the offer process. Because if there's one thing that I've learned in my 12 years in the real estate field, is that once you allow your emotions to take a hold of the driver's seat, take a hold of that steering wheel, and you're going to end up with a property that you either hate, regret, or can't afford. And I'm not about to start a life with my partner in a negative space. So that I can be very proud of. And in the end, it worked out. We found a property that fits our needs, does need a little bit of work. What thing over 60 years old doesn't need a little bit of work every now and then? I'm 33 and I could use a little bit of work myself. But so far, coming into 2023, that has been the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders. And I'm excited for this year now. So here I am in 2023, having fully achieved 2 of the 3 goals that I set out last year and partially achieving the last one. Would I've liked to have done more creative projects? Yes. But I can be proud and feel proud of where I ended up at the end of the year. So now where do I go from here? Well, I spent the last couple of weeks trying to figure out what the next set of goals are for this year. And I think I've figured out what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to set 3 goals again, but I'm going to approach it a little bit differently. I'm going to have a health goal, I'm going to have a business goal, and then I'm going to have a life goal. The health goal, I want to lose 25 pounds by the start of baseball season, which is in May. So I've got about 4.5 months before I do that weigh-in. It's about 5 pounds a month, a little over a pound a week. I think I can do it. As far as business goal, I want to either take on 3 more social media marketing clients or shoot 3 more commercials. And then for the life goal, I need to buy a car. Need to buy a new car. Why do I make some of my goals just spending money? How I've gone about setting up the goals for this year is a little bit different from last. Last year, they were a little bit more open-ended. Like with the weight loss goal, I figured 50 pounds would have been enough over the course of a year that I could just go at it, and I'd have some ups and downs, and I'd be able to take the entire 12 months to do it. It was a huge milestone that had a lengthy end time, so really didn't force me to focus directly on it. It always seemed to be like a secondary or a tertiary goal in the back of my head. As far as expanding my business, that also was a little bit vague. Like, how do I measure success of expanding my business? Is 1 client a success? Is 5? Is 10? Is hiring somebody? There was no measurable level of something that I could look at and say, hit it. Now I need to readjust my focus. The house was a little bit more of a focus, and that one was the most specific, but again, the one that I had focused on the most and probably sacrificed attention towards the first 2 goals. But again, that was the most important one to me. The most important thing I want to do this year is make sure that the health and business goals are the ones I focus on the most, which is why I've given them more specific, quantifiable, and qualitative deadlines and milestones, essentially. Markers that I can sort of tick off, hopefully during the year, if not by the end of the year. The life goal remains a little bit vague in the terms of that one's going to be more like a reward, and I'm okay with that one, unless something happens catastrophically that I need to buy a car tomorrow, in which case the life goal just turns into a life necessity. And we've all run into that every now and then. If you made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. I know it's not easy to sit through probably 10 plus minutes of somebody talking about themselves. I don't like talking about myself a lot. I don't like the focus to be put on me. But again, as I said with the 2021 and the 2022 projects, these videos are not about my ego. They're more about me keeping myself accountable for things. Not to mention practice for me to sort of condense video topics and subject topics and enhance my writing, because one thing that I am guilty of when it comes to writing is I am very long-winded. You can ask a couple of comedian friends of mine. I have long-winded jokes. So with the weight of the house hunt off my shoulders, I am going to be putting more videos onto this channel, and they're going to be more creative and narrative. It's not going to be just about this all the time. There's going to be more focus, and there's going to be more story-driven videos, I guess, kind of like how I talked about, when I quit my job to film a movie, or, the one time I was forced off of a fairground ride because I was too big. I did release a little short last year called Ghost House Hunters, and that was a fun one. I also have another channel, CMG Enterprises, which is the name of my business, and I use that one as a central hub for my real estate tours that agents can put onto their listings. But I want to provide more educational videos, I guess. Maybe not educational videos, but definitely more business-focused videos. Talking about cameras and real estate photography, videography, my thoughts on, commercial work and content and creative stuff like that. I don't know if I want to put it on this channel or make it more business-centric. Let me know, because I got things I want to say, but I don't know where to say them. Should I say them here? Should I say them over there? I don't know. Let me know. I appreciate it. Again, thank you for sitting through this long-winded update video. Go and tell someone you love them today, and I'll see you in the next one.